Start believing in yourself. Believing in yourself, Victor was told by his teacher, you need to drop out of school and go learn how to work with your hands because you don't have it. How would you like to have an authoritarian figure telling you, a child of 15, to drop out of school? You're dumb. And that's what he does. For the next 16 years, he traveled the United States as an itinerant looking for odd jobs. Then he ends up in Dallas, and he's reading the classifieds trying to find a job, and he sees that they're looking for people to test. He calls them up and says, do you have to be smart? No. He said, well, I'm dumb. That's okay. It's a psychological IQ evaluation test. Why don't you come on in? Maybe you can set the curve at the bottom. Okay, so Victor goes in and takes the test the first time. They looked at the score. Said, you're dumb? Yeah. You mind taking it again? You going to pay me? He wasn't that dumb. Took the test the second time. They looked at the score. You mind taking it again? Yeah, we'll pay you. But we're going to have the guy that wrote the test, got all the PhDs and diplomas on the wall. We're going to have him conduct the test. Victor takes the test the third time. That guy said, I ain't taking this thing again. He said, what, I scored lower than anybody's ever scored in the history of the test? He says, no, sir, as best we can tell, your IQ's over 162. You're a genius. That's why we had you take the test 3 times. He looked at him and said, that's impossible. 16 years ago, my teacher told me I was a dunce. He said, buddy, I don't care what your teacher told you. You're smarter than me. I wrote the test. Now, Victor woke up that morning, he showered a dunce, shaved a dunce, dressed a dunce, and drove off as a dunce. The next day, he showered a genius, dressed a genius, and drove off as a genius. Why do I tell you the story? He went on to a 6-figure income, wrote several books, has several patents to his name, and is the past chairman of the Mensa Society worldwide. He had to have an IQ of 132 to even be considered, but for 16 years, he gave it up. Why? Because someone said, you're stupid, and he gave it value. Heaven forbid it's a parent or a teacher or a family member says, you can't be any better than that. I never was. You want to call it down to one word? I'll call it down to one simple word. What I'm talking about is confidence. And confidence is as critical as what we got to have, folks. How would you like someone to say this to you? Marshall, try another profession. Any other profession. Said to who? Lucille Ball, by our drama coach. I think she did okay. A couple of guys are sitting in a room. Guy walks up to one and says, you got no talent, a chip on your tooth. Looks at the other guy and says, your Adam's apple sticks out too far, you talk too slow. You're fired. Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood, 1959, Universal Studios. I think they did okay. And my favorite of all, you ain't going nowhere, son. You ought to go back to driving a truck. Anybody know who that one was? Elvis Presley. Yes, sir. Elvis. In 1954, Jim Denny, the manager of the Grand Ole Opry, who knew all the great ones, says, you ain't got it, son. But what did these people say? I don't care what you said. I don't care who you're talking to. You're talking to me. I got it. And that's exactly what you've got to say. Folks, I've been doing this for a long time. And I've shown done thousands of seminars and probably hundreds of thousands of slides. And I'm getting ready to show you my favorite because it basically wraps it all up into one simple expression. We are what we perceive ourselves to be. I love that picture. See, the problem is some of y'all see that line, but some of y'all don't. And so my statement as to how I call it down is very simply this. Start believing in yourself. Why start believing in yourself? If you don't believe in yourself, why should I? Why should I? Why should I take a chance on you? And that's what people have got to understand. Give me that chance, then believe in yourself.